Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to a new video. Today I'm going to do the classics book tag. I just watched Valerie's video over at Thornfield Books, so I'll link her video down below so you can watch it and subscribe to her channel because she has really cool videos about classics. And yeah, I really like the prompts, so I'm going to answer them myself now. So prompt number 1, an overhyped classic you really didn't like. So I'll have a picture of it here because I don't own a copy of this book, but it is The Catcher in the Rye. I just really didn't like that book at all. I read it a few years ago for the book club that I have with my friend, and we really didn't like it. She didn't like it either. I read it really quickly. I think I just wanted to be done with it because I wasn't really enjoying it at all. And I have a video reviewing that book, so I'll link it up here somewhere if you are curious. But I really didn't like the main character. I think he was just a spoiled brat, I'm sorry. Nothing really happens in the story, like nothing happens. Granted that towards the end I sort of understand why he is the way he is, but still I just really didn't like the book, and I know that a lot of people like it, but for me it was just like a no. I have another answer for this prompt, but I just have to tell you this first because I don't want you to kill me. This is a beloved classic. A lot of people love this book. A lot of people say this was a book that got them into classics to begin with. I studied this book twice at university, here in Portugal and in the UK, which was super interesting because my professors had really different perspectives. But I have an issue with the ending, and I think that this classic is so hyped that people forget that this author has other novels. And they just sort of read this one and that's it. Obviously, I don't want to, I'm not generalizing, I'm not telling you that everybody does the same, but I do think that, people forget about her other books, and I do have an issue with the ending. I don't like the ending, and I just think that if it were different, I would not be talking about it right now. So, with that said, please forgive me. Please don't kill me. I'm talking about Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. I feel so bad. This is such a controversial opinion. I know that people love this book. I really enjoyed reading this book. I read it twice for classes and I read it on my own. It is very damaged already because, I read this multiple times. So please forgive me. I do have an issue with the ending. I don't like the ending. I think it just throws away everything that, I was supposed to take from the novel. But that's my opinion, and I do think that it's so hyped that sometimes people forget she has other books that are equally good, in my opinion. So that's why I'm mentioning this book. Again, we can still be friends, but I do know it is a controversial opinion. So, okay, prompt number 2, favorite time period to read about. I really like the Victorian period. I think that I read a lot of classics set in the Victorian period, so I can tell you for sure that is one of my favorites. I also really like the Edwardian period. I like post-war novels. I know it's a bit like modern classics, but I really, really like post-war. I really like, American 1940s, 1950s literature. So I just have a lot of interests. If I had to pick a time period to study and focus on, I would have a lot of issues. I also really like pre-Victorian period. I really like Jane Austen time. It's just really hard for me to choose, but I just think that all of the time periods that I mentioned are amazing in terms of explaining and giving you a very clear picture of what society was like, and it's just all the historical context and information that you get is just so interesting. But that's me, so I know this is sort of a mishmash answer, but you get the gist. Okay, prompt number 3, favorite fairy tale. I haven't got one, sorry. Didn't read a lot of fairy tales growing up. Really didn't like children's literature when I was a child. I didn't have like the normal books that a child usually has, like Grimm's fairy tales and stuff. I know the story of the Three Little Pigs and Little Red Riding Hood. I don't know, I don't have a favorite fairy tale. And until recently, I wasn't a big fan of children's literature at all, but I took a class this last semester about it, and like I changed my opinion, I changed my mind, but yeah, I don't have a favorite, sorry. Question number 4. What is the most embarrassed classic you haven't read yet? So I have 3 answers for this prompt. The first 2 are by the same author. I'm just super embarrassed that I haven't read these, and that's War and Peace and Anna Karenina. I read like his novellas, but I just feel super intimidated by these books, and I feel super embarrassed as well because I know that a lot of people say these are their favorites and they're just amazing, and I sort of know I haven't read them, but I believe in you. I feel very bad that I haven't read these. Okay, so the other one is East of Eden by John Steinbeck. I actually started reading this book, and as you can see, I was stabbing it. Last year, Steve Barry over on Instagram, he was hosting the Great Steinbeck Challenge of 2020, and this was one of the books that we had to read, and I actually bought the book just for the challenge. Not just for the challenge, like I wanted to read this book eventually, but it wasn't a priority at the time, but I got it, and I started reading it, and then I don't know what happened. It's not like I wasn't enjoying it. I actually think that this is going to be super close with Grapes of Wrath, which is my favorite so far of Steinbeck, but I don't know, I think this is going to be super close. It might change my mind. But I don't know, it's just work, having to work from home, the pandemic, not knowing what was going to happen. I think it's just all of that got to me last year, and I wasn't in a mood to read, so I didn't finish the book, and I'm just going to start over. But yeah, I feel embarrassed that I didn't finish the challenge at the time, and yeah, I need to get to this one soon. Okay, prompt number 5, top 5 classics you would like to read soon. So I already mentioned a couple. Definitely East of Eden by John Steinbeck, Anna Karenina by Tolstoy, Carolyn Marie Reeds, I think that's her handle. She was hosting, or she is hosting, I don't know if it's finished or not, the Dickens versus Tolstoy like challenge or reading challenge, and I didn't have the time because of work. I couldn't participate, but I follow her on Instagram, and I just really like her stories about this book. She really likes Anna Karenina, and I just feel super motivated. So I actually think this is going to be my next book. Then we also have The Woman in White by Wilkie Collins. I read The Haunted Hotel and Other Stories. I really like his writing, and everybody says that this is such a nice mystery classic. But on the other hand, a lot of people say they don't like the way he portrays women. So I would like to read it for myself and for my own opinion. And I got this beautiful edition. This is a Wordsworth Classics edition, and this is like the vintage one. So I just really like the cover, and I can't wait to read this one. And then we have Middlemarch by George Eliot. I know it has a huge tear. I got this for like 50 cents. I just love Penguin Popular Classics. I love the Yellow Spine, and I really wanted to own it. So yeah, I don't know anything about Middlemarch, but a lot of people say that it is one of the books that's just got them into classics. Some people say Jane Eyre, some people say Middlemarch. And someone I subscribe to on Instagram, Kate, she didn't start reading classics until like last year or something. And she really liked Middlemarch. I think she read it recently and she really liked it. So I would like to give it a shot. And finally, North and South by Elizabeth Gaskell. I read her spooky short stories and I really like those. And I think this is set in the industrial era, but I might be mistaken. Not sure. A lot of people say this is their favorite Elizabeth Gaskell's novel, so I'm excited about reading and just discovering a new author that is new to me because I never read one of her novels. Prompt number 6, favorite modern book / series based on a classic. I don't read a lot of retellings. I don't read retellings. I just have to tell you that. Yeah, so it's hard for me to pick one. The Bridget Jones Diary, which is supposedly based on Pride and Prejudice, but it's just like loosely based. Other than that, I can't really find one, so let's move on. Prompt number 7, favorite movie version / TV series based on a classic. I really like the remake of Emma. I just think it's fun. It's super colorful and just fun. I also really liked, I forgot the actress's name, but there's a movie based on Shirley Jackson's We Have Always Lived in the Castle. And I really liked the movie. Like I pictured the setting, like I pictured the film in a completely different way, but I really like what they did with it. So yeah, if you like Shirley Jackson, you should totally watch that film. When it comes to series, I don't watch a lot of series, so I wouldn't know. But I know there are a couple of like web series based on Jane Austen's novels, but I haven't watched those, so I can't really tell you. Prompt number 8, worst classic to movie adaptation. Now this again is controversial, but I didn't like The Great Gatsby with Leonardo DiCaprio. I really didn't like the film. I didn't like the way he portrayed a Gatsby. I didn't like the soundtrack. I didn't like the actress who played Daisy. I didn't like the film at all. I remember that our American literature professor told us to go watch the film because we actually read Gatsby with her during our undergrad. And I was actually I was going to watch it regardless, but I remember she really didn't like the film, and I had a hard time with that because we never agreed on anything. We had never agreed on anything, and then we agreed on this. Prompt number 9, favorite editions you would like to collect more classics from. So this is difficult. I started reading Jane Austen in these Penguin classics, like the Black Spine Penguin classics. I have Persuasion and Emma in these editions, and I was like, I'm just going to collect all of Jane Austen novels in these editions. But now I have the Penguin Popular Classics as well, Sense and Sensibility, but it's Wordsworth Classics, so I fell short. The only edition that I'm actually collecting is Great Steinbeck by Penguin. So I have East of Eden, The Grapes of Wrath, and The Pearl. I think there are 2 more of Mice and Men. I've read of Mice and Men, but I read it online. I read it on my phone at the time, and I haven't bought it because it's not a priority. I think I'm going to buy The Moon is Down first because it is also in these editions. So I really like them. I really like the covers. I just really like the feeling. I think they're really nice. They look beautiful together. So these are the ones that I'm actually collecting. Okay, and finally, prompt number 10, an underhyped classic you would recommend to everyone. This is hard. Okay, so I have no authority to tell you if this is an underhyped classic or not. I feel like it is, again, because a lot of people just get so excited with Jane Eyre and the book is so hyped that they forget there are other sisters. But I think that people just forget about Anne a lot. And I totally recommend Agnes Grey. Even if you have never read classics, this is a good one to start with. So it is quite short. It's a quick read. It's just so interesting. It talks about society and relations, between people in a way that's just so raw and beautiful, but at the same time terrifying. I know she just has this magic She talks about things that are completely mundane, just very normal, everyday stuff. But, she talks about them in a way that it sounds terrifying. And, you start thinking and reflecting on the fact that, people sometimes are just evil. And yeah, I think Agnes Grey is an amazing novel, and I think people forget about Anne Bronte a lot. I think they talk a lot about The Tenant of Whitefell Hall, and they forget about Agnes Grey. But, in a way, I could also mention Emily Bronte's Wuthering Heights, because a lot of people just don't like the book because, oh, it's a revenge story, it's so dark, it's so evil, it's just so this and that. But if you think about it, I think she was ahead of her time, like ahead of Charlotte. And I think they just, are underhyped because of Jane Eyre and because of Charlotte Bronte. And yeah, I wish more people would read Anne Bronte or Emily Bronte, because I really think that they are just as good or better. And again, controversial, I know, because a lot of people just, they love Jane Eyre, they love Charlotte Bronte, she's the best, she's this, she's that, but I really think that a lot of people would love Agnes Grey if they gave it a shot. I really hope you enjoyed this tag. If you like the prompts, I have them listed down below. Just either comment or film your own video and let me know, because I would like to know your answers to these questions. Let me know if you agree with me at all, especially when it comes to Charlotte Bronte and Anne and Emily. Let me know if you agree with me or not. Like, let's just have a dialogue. Let's not attack each other. I'm super cautious when I talk about Charlotte Bronte because I know that so many people like her, and I don't want to come across as like being mean or something like that. It's just my opinion. Like, if you love Jane Eyre, you do you. It's fine. We can still be friends. So yeah, guys, comment, like, subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you very, very soon. Bye.